Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Prepping means making decisions, facing challenges, pondering what the future holds, and setting out a path of what you want to do. Have a plan for how you're going to deal with the future. We don't know what challenges lie ahead, but we know that everybody has them, and there are plenty that could happen to each and every one of us. We could face a challenge just as an individual, in our family. It could be anywhere from in our own neighborhood, our country, all the way up to a global crisis. So there are prepping decisions that we need to make. How many are you prepping for? Have you thought about it? Are you just prepping for yourself as an individual? Do you have a nuclear family that you're prepping for? What about your closest friends, family, neighbors, trusted people? Are you willing to prepare anything in case you need to assist them? And that's something we need to really think about. If you really had a challenge in your life, in your situation, wherever you are, how many people are you realistically prepping for? And that's what you need to figure out. Do you have enough food that you are willing to share, or that you have just something basic that you're willing to share? Or are you really willing to draw a hard and fast line that that's it? It's just for myself, my family, my nuclear family, and I don't care about anyone else. I'm going to hunker down, and that's going to be it. So you have to really think about those challenges and decisions, and think about what you're really willing and able to do. That's part of the planning that we need to do, so that we have already made the decision, we can stand by our decision, and then we don't have to worry about, what am I doing? How do I help? Who should I help? Then am I sorry that I helped? Or whatever. There's so many challenges that come up in an emergency situation that if you've thought about it ahead of time and you've made a plan, then you're more able to implement that plan and stick to the choices that you've made. Think about how many days could it take for this emergency to reach a panic mode. Did you have a job loss? Is there some emergency in your area? There could be a loss of basic services, a loss of income. And if you look at what's going along in some of the towns along the border, and even in some of the sanctuary cities, there's a loss of control of the community. We might have to face some of these crises, and we need to figure out, how long would it take until it could actually escalate into an emergency and a crisis panic mode. Just look at what happened in Baltimore when that container ship hit the bridge and knocked the bridge completely down. So of course, immediately we want to try to find survivors. We want to try to figure out what happened and how can we fix this. But now we have this huge problem of cleaning up the harbor, how to restore the shipping lanes. What about the people who relied on that bridge for commuting? Now they could have terrible problems trying to commute back and forth to their home, to work, to their children's school, to their daycare, to their elderly relatives. We can only imagine what all the challenges can be if you've lost one of your major ways of traveling and commuting in your area. Crisis can come on just in an instant, just like that did when that bridge fell down. Suddenly your whole world can come crashing down, and you need to figure out what to do next. So we can't think of everything that could go wrong, but we can try to think of a lot of things and try to prepare for those. We know it's so important to store food. We know we want to have open and eat food, hardly cook anything food, and then the longest lasting food. Lots of times we want to store food in 5-gallon buckets and Mylar bags. But it might be a better use of your resources is if you put things in smaller batches. Put things into a jar. Put them into a food saver bag. Store them in a recycled pop bottle that you've cleaned and dried well. You might want to have smaller batches so that you're better able to manage the portion sizes, make your resources last as long as possible. If you have food stored in smaller containers, then you don't have some of the risks associated with only having big, large batches of stored food. We don't want food to get spilled. We don't want it to get spoiled. We don't want it to get wasted. We don't want it to get stolen. If somebody runs off with your whole 5-gallon bucket, then you don't have anything left. But if you have lots of little containers, you could give something to a neighbor. You could share with a friend. You can get something out a little at a time. and portion out what you're willing to use with your family to make your limited food supply last longer. These are a few of the prepping strategies, the decisions, and the challenges that we want to think about before we're in a crisis situation. Challenge yourself to pay off debt. Decide to store a little bit more food as you go along, a little at a time. Decide to store more water. The more you can store, the better off you're going to be. And then have a way to purify water if your water should run out and then you don't have a source of clean drinking water. The water keeps running in your house, but it isn't safe to drink, then you can purify it and make it additional water that you're able to use. Keep your gas tank full of gas so that if you needed to evacuate, go to the hospital in the middle of the night, you forgot something at the store and you actually want to go out and get it, you don't have another catastrophe because you don't have the gas to get there. Keep your propane tanks full, then if you need an alternate way to cook, crank open your propane tank, light it up, and you can be cooking a meal in no time. Have cash on hand in small bills so then you have a way to pay for things in a lot of situations that cash can really save the day. As preppers, there's a lot to think about. There are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of decisions to be made, but just like every other area of prepping, if we think about it a little at a time, we challenge our minds. What could go wrong? How could I deal with it? What would I do? What am I willing to do? And who am I willing to help? Think about all those things, and it can make your mind just open up to all different kinds of questions that you can ask, which helps guide you to finding solutions to any of the challenges that we may face ahead. Leave it in the comments below. What are some other challenges and decisions that you think we should think about so that we can be better prepared for what lies ahead? I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.